Hey guys, Toolman Tim here. Welcome back to the workshop where we build business, create community, find freedom, and share success. Saturday morning, which means it's time for another edition of the weekend workshop. And as always, this tends to be one of my favorite series of the week, and I've got yet another topic for you that I hope you really enjoy. This week we're going to talk about using Dewalt Cordless technology in the realm of emergency preparedness. All right, guys, real quick before we dive in, as always, if you want to know more about me, go to toolmantim.co. That's toolmantim.co. Find all my social platforms there. Follow me on Float. Go by MeWe, Odyssey, Facebook, Instagram, and my daughter's been running the TikTok account lately too, just to try that out. We'll see how that goes, but check it out there. And if you're looking for solutions to problems, products that meet the Toolman Tim seal of approval, go by the shop or toolmantim.shop to check out links to all the stuff on Amazon that I recommend that I've used that have made me money or saved me money in my business. Stuff like, I got to get paint off vinyl siding or I got to hang a picture and I can't drill a hole. What do you recommend, Tim? So check that out. And anything you buy, of course, helps support this channel and the content that I create, and I am grateful for that. So thanks, guys. All right, so this week I want to talk to you about one of the topics that I'm obviously passionate about, and that is emergency preparedness. And in this case, in the realm of Dewalt Cordless tools, Dewalt Cordless platform, and how we're going to use that in an emergency. You guys know you need to have heat and lights. Well, at least you need to have heat and shelter and food and water. And if you have all those taken care of, the next thing you really need is power. And you know, you guys have always heard me talk about 2 is 1, 1 is none, 3 is a guarantee, and also the need to have products that have multiple uses and things you're able to use in different ways. So you might have a camper that you use 9 months of the year to camp in, but it can also be a home away from home if there's a wildfire and you need to get away in a quick way. How great is that? You may never need it, but it's always there, and that is a use that you can have. How about a headlamp? I use headlamps all the time when I'm crawling underneath the trailers and that sort of thing to help fix plumbing leaks or to find insulation problems or to get rid of mice. Awesome. But when the power goes out, I've got 2 of them in my drawer right next to my bed. Slap those suckers on, and now they're an emergency preparedness headlamp. Something I use as a tool on a regular basis, but something I'm also able to use in an emergency. How about regular fuel storage? So I've got fuel on hand for my mowers. I've got fuel on hand for my truck, which is great. But when the power goes out, that same gas, also the propane that I use for my grill, the propane and the gas can be used to help create emergency power to keep the lights on, to make the coffee hot, to keep the heat going, all of that stuff. So, I've got everything that I prepare with, everything that I keep on hand has a practical everyday use, pretty much everything, but it also hopefully has a secondary use, which is great to use. Think about all your camping gear that you have, an outdoor stove, solar lights, all kinds of cool stuff, all kinds of things that you can use in a grid down or a power outage emergency. And also, we've got all of these Dewalt tools all up around here. We got a huge storage of power in all those 20 volt, 60 volt batteries that's untapped. So why don't we look at using, especially in an emergency, if somebody isn't completely prepared yet, tapping into that stored power using Dewalt technology, because you guys know I love Dewalt, and let's see what we can come up with to help us in an emergency like that. So this is going to be a video very similar to, if you saw a while back, my video on the Amish love Dewalt tools, and here's a list. So most of the stuff I'm going to talk to you about, I don't personally have yet. I've been looking at, but I wanted to share with you a lot of the cool stuff that I found online. So as I talk about each product, you'll see a picture pop up on the screen here, and we can look at it together. Well, I can't really. I'll pretend like it's there, but you know how it is. So, all right. So the first item, and I do have this guy, he's actually sitting right over there, and this is the one that's important before an emergency. And this is the 4-port Dewalt charger. Now, if you have a bunch of single chargers or just one single charger, great, not a problem at all. But I love having that 4-port rapid charger because it's almost like forced compliance. I talk about that with my neck knife. You know, you make something simple and easy and you're going to do it. If you've got to put 14 batteries on 14 different chargers and plug them into 14 different outlets, there's a good chance you're not going to keep your batteries topped up, charged, and ready to go. But if you've got a quick, you know, a rapid charging 4-port charger that when you come in, you roll those mowers in, you can pull all 4 of those batteries off, slap them on there, set it and forget it, and it's done in an hour. There's a good chance you're going to do it. So having a good charging system, and in this instance, the 4-port rapid I'm tongue-tied today, it's great. The 4-port rapid charger works great for me. So that's the key, is having this stuff. If you've got a whole bunch of batteries and they're all dead when the power goes out, that ain't going to do you a lot of good. So a little bit of forethought and making sure the stuff stays charged on a regular basis is important in a grid down or just a power outage. All right, now number 2, and this is one, Joseph Mills, my buddy, you guys know him from Mills Construction. He did an awesome review on this product. I don't have it yet. It's a big price point. I just haven't justified it yet, but it's the Dewalt Power Station. And it takes 4 Dewalt batteries. It also acts as a charger, but what's great is it's basically a battery generator. So you can put 4 batteries on there, and I believe it's good up to 1800 watts. There may be a little higher for peak watts, but you can basically plug any 1500 watt item within reason into it and run with it. And how great is that? So you've basically got a way to tap into all of these batteries that with no fancy connections, you can just take maybe a microwave, whatever, anything that's below 1500 watts and plug it into the Dewalt Power Station and run it. So you've now just taken an easy way to slap all those batteries on and run with them without having to tinker or change any of the interior wiring like the Amish love to do so much. But that power station, that's next on my list. I wouldn't mind having it. You guys know I bought that big tri-fuel generator, and it's hard to justify maybe $500 on a Dewalt Power Station. But if you have it, it doubles as a charger and it works as a power station. Number 3, and it's the Dewalt Backpack Charger. Now this is really cool. So I was going through the Dewalt catalog the other night, well, a few weeks ago, because I'm a geek and I like to look at tools. And I seen a backpack and I thought, oh, well, that's just a backpack with a Dewalt brand on it. So that's cheap and not good and whatever. Anyway, so I looked at it, and inside there's a place to literally smack a Dewalt battery in there, and then there's USB charging ports built in. So this would be an incredible bug out bag. So say you need to go somewhere, and I don't mean, oh, the world's ended as we know it and we need to run off in the woods and live on our own. I mean, if you're going to the hospital because your wife's having a baby or your kid hurt their leg or whatever it happens to be, you can have your bug out bag ready to go, and you can just stop in your garage on your way out to the car, grab a couple of Dewalt batteries, you're good. Smack them in there, you get everything in, you can plug your phone in on the way to the hospital, or you've just got a portable source of power. So many people forget about that when they're heading out for something. So if you've got something already set up for it, great. So, you know, if you're looking at that, I really like that idea. I thought it's a little out of the ordinary, and you guys know some of this stuff will be a little tongue-in-cheek, but I wanted to get us thinking about, thinking outside the box, I guess is the right term I wanted to say there, but I wanted to get us thinking outside the box of how we can use other stuff for emergency preparedness uses. So this is kind of a fun list. You guys know I love my Dewalt stuff, and this backpack with the Dewalt battery adapter and USB charging ports fits the bill. Number 4, the inflation station. And that guy is right there. And that is maybe my single favorite Dewalt item tool on the market. And if you guys are taking a long road trip, you need 2 things. You need a way to inflate a tire, and you need a Victor tire plug kit or something comparable. And if you know how to do that, there is a chance that 90% of the typical calls you would make to AAA, you're not going to need. This inflation station is better than a pancake or a hot dog compressor. It's quieter, it's faster, it's well built. I've used it for small tires, big tires, everything in between, and there's nothing that's going to ruin a good day worse, or needing to get out quick worse than a flat tire. And this inflation station just fills things up. It gets you on the road. And you couple that with a really good tire plug kit. Teach yourself how to use a tire plug kit. That's important. And most automotive issues, especially tire related on the side of the road, you'll be okay to handle. Number 5, and this is the Dewalt Handheld Work Light. This is something I almost picked up at Christmas. I ended up buying one from Crappy Tire instead, and as soon as I did it, I kicked myself because it has an internal battery. It's not compatible, whatever, anyway, you guys know. But if you're out working all the time and you're like me and you're working in properties that the power's turned off because of non-payment or they've been abandoned or whatever, you need a mobile source of light. And Dewalt has a couple of different ones. They've got a nice work light on a stand, and they've got a nice work light that will sit right on the counter, whatever. Anyway, they all run off the 20 volt platform, and they're great for working with, but they're also incredibly convenient for power outages. So, you know, I mean, you can use smaller stuff, but if that's all you have, Dewalt has, probably going to talk about it after, but a handheld flashlight as well. But if that's literally all you have and you have no other way to tap into power, get out there, get that damn cordless work light, and it doesn't matter if it's Dewalt or whatever it is, bring it inside and use it. Because so many people, it's the same idea as there's a power outage because of a blizzard. They can't heat their house and stuff in their fridge goes bad. So then you're like, well, why didn't you put it outside? Or, okay, say you're heating your house, but you don't have enough power to heat your house and run your fridge. So, oh, my food spoiled, I had to cook. Just throw it outside in the damn snow. Just think for a minute. You know, you've got no light, you've got no flashlights, but I've got 3 cordless automotive work lights out in my shop that are fully charged because I love to be a weekend mechanic or a weekend warrior. Bring them inside and use them. Why not? Again, outside the box. Number 6, and this is the battery radio Bluetooth. Now, the one I picked up is just a Bluetooth, and if I'd have thought about it or waited, I probably would have bought the one with the radio as well because, again, function stacking. I'm going to use this 99. I don't listen to the radio any other time. I just don't. I don't like terrestrial radio, whatever. I listen to Bluetooth, you know, Apple Music, whatever, iTunes, that sort of thing on my Bluetooth speaker. But Dewalt also makes a Bluetooth speaker with a radio built in. And when the power's out, if the internet's down, whatever it happens to be, information is key. You always want to know when the power's coming back on, when something's going to get fixed, what's causing it. There's nothing worse than feeling like you don't have an ear to the outside world. And of course, if you don't happen to have a radio or you don't happen to have AA batteries to run your radio because the power's out and you've got that Dewalt Bluetooth radio, bring it in the house, turn it on. If nothing else, you guys can sit around and listen to an old-fashioned serial soap opera. No, not really. They haven't done that since the 30s. But you can sit and listen to 22 minutes of music every 60 minutes and listen to the DJ yammer on about everything else. Now, number 7 is one that I thought was pretty cool, and I didn't know that it was something that really worked, but I had a community member tell me he uses the Milwaukee version of this, and this is the Dewalt heated jackets and hoodies. Now, again, you're thinking, well, that doesn't seem super practical. Well, if you live up here and where, you know, the wind can literally kill you or hurt your face and that kind of stuff, you need to stay warm. And these work really well to do that. But if you're in a house and you have no way to heat that house, it's way easier to just heat yourself than it is to heat the entire house. It's way more power friendly. You don't need anything else to do it. And if you don't have a heated blanket, because I've heard that's a really good way to keep yourself warm, of course, in a power outage, the next best thing is a heated jacket or a heated hoodie. Plus it says DeWalt on it, so it's pretty sharp looking. You can use it while you're working. And again, it runs off of the Dewalt Cordless platform. That's the job site spotlight. So the work lights I was talking about before, they were a little bit smaller. This is a great big, I can't remember the lumens on it, but it can literally light up an entire room. So instead of just having the tiny little work lights that they still work good, if you want to, you know, have a backyard barbecue or something like that, anyway, doesn't matter. Set it up, get going, light up your life, and you're not using fuel or anything else. You're just using the DeWalt batteries that you already have on hand. Number 9 is a chainsaw. You might think, Tim, what in the hell does that have to do with emergency preparedness? Well, if you don't live in hurricane or blizzard country, you might not worry about it. But if you live way out in the country or even in town, of course, people, you know, in here quite often, of course, the storms never happen when the town, you know, when the town workers are up working, and they will get out and fix things. But you could be just traveling and all of a sudden, hey, I can't get out of town because there's a great big branch over the road, or there's a log in the way, or whatever. Again, or maybe you just got some branches that are rubbing on the house in an emergency, trying to pull off your roofing or cause some problems with your internet lines. Just get out there, use your Dewalt battery-powered chainsaw, snip them up, clear them away. You can go around and earn some collateral with your neighbors by helping them out as well. And again, you're tapping into that. You're not using the gas that you have set aside for your generator. Quieter, easier, lighter, the whole shebang. Number 10, and this is the USB top-off charger. And this is probably the most practical and only emergency-based tool that Dewalt makes. It's not something that I use on a regular basis because I tend to keep my phone charged anyway, but you guys have seen it. I've got some around here. It's just a USB slide-on that goes on top of a Dewalt battery, and then you can plug up to 2 USB devices into it. And what doesn't charge with a USB nowadays? So if you are like a lot of people and you forgot to plug your phone in at night or whatever it happens to be, you can just slap that on, plug your phone in, and now you've got emergency power for just about anything up to 80 watts that'll run through a USB device. That can be pretty handy. It can be a lifesaver, literally. Number 11, Dewalt battery booster. Now this one's an electric tool. You'll see the picture up here, but again, if you've got a dead battery, I recommend battery packs. Those battery booster packs are great, but if you got a dead battery in a car, you're not going anywhere. You need to have a way to boost that. So if this isn't a power outage situation, but it's an emergency situation, like maybe you got a tornado on its way, or you got a wildfire, or maybe some weird gases or something, you got to get your vehicle up and running, you got a dead battery, the best thing, you're going to need to boost it somehow. Number 12, the 140 watt Dewalt car inverter. Now this one is just a regular old inverter, branded Dewalt, but I thought it was neat enough that you could use it. Now, if you've got the USB and you got to travel somewhere, slap that on, use your batteries, great. But if you don't and you need an inverter, plug that into your cigarette lighter or hardwire it right to your battery, and then you've got an electric outlet in your car that you can plug whatever you need to into. Maybe, like a little electric cooler, or, again, just charge the devices for the kiddos so they're not driving you crazy while you're trying to drive. Number 13, and this is where I get into a bit of a stretch, but it's kind of cool, and it is a multi-tool, or the Dewalt folding knife. Again, this is a Dewalt list. There is way better knives, way better multi-tools on the market, but a good quality knife and a good quality multi-tool are an emergency preparedness nuts. Must have. Everybody's got to have one. You'd be surprised how often you can use a knife or a multi-tool for 1,000 different things. And these just happened to be, when I was flipping through the catalog, I seen them. The Dewalt knife looks really good. A utility knife has way more uses than you think as well. They have one of those. The multi-tool is really cool. It's no Gerber, don't get me wrong, but for 20 bucks at Home Depot or Amazon, it'll do the trick, especially if you want a I don't want to say junky, I hate that word, but if you want a tool that you can a knife or a multi-tool that you can just throw in your truck so it's always there just in case you got to run and go do something, then those are the type to have. I've actually got my multi-tool in the truck right now, and it's just there. I might use it once or twice a year, but when I need it, I have it. Now, number 14, it's a bit of a cheat, but it's a drill pump. Dewalt doesn't make a drill pump, but you can buy those little pumps that you can put into a Dewalt drill, and in a pinch you can siphon fuel from one vehicle to another. Say you need some fuel for your generator and you're almost out, siphon it out of your vehicle. It'll handle a little bit of water. You don't want to use it as a sump pump, but if you have a bit of a trickle of water you need to get rid of, you can use it for that. You can use it for transferring fluids, but for me, the main thing is transferring fuel from a vehicle to a jerry can, or from a jerry can into a generator. But pick up one of those little drill pumps and put it into one of your Dewalt drills, and you're all set. All right, so that was kind of a fun list, guys. It was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it was a really cool exercise for me to think about the use of what we have on hand. We got all this stuff on hand. We spend all this time and money on all these toys and tools that we love to play with, and then when the power's out, we don't think about them again. We're like, well, they're useless right now, but they're not. And it doesn't have to be Dewalt. You guys know this. It can be Rigid, Milwaukee, Makita, all that. But really what this whole video was all about was looking around the house, looking around the garage, and making a mental list of the stuff. Hey, I've got this, and you know what this will do? This will do X, Y, Z when the power's out, and I never thought of that before. So I don't have to go buy another item. Or even better, when you're starting to look at items to buy, you can think, oh, this has 2 or 3 or 4 items, and or uses, and I'm going to pick this up. So guys, if you've got other things that you use in emergency preparedness from cordless tools, or even if this has just rattled your brain around and said, oh Tim, this is a great idea, I'm going to do this, and this is why I'm going to buy that, share that in the links below. That way the entire community can learn something from it. We can share our knowledge, we build together, we grow together, and we prepare together, which is also awesome. And guys, if you're new here and you like this content, hit that subscribe button, support the channel, and grow with this community. It's awesome. We're rapidly heading toward 2,000 subscribers, which blows my mind, and I love. Thank you guys for that. And again, toolmantim.co if you want to know more about me. And as always, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.